Welcome to the Dental Business Guide podcast. From money to marketing to management, this podcast will help you run a better dental business.
Hello, Arun here from the Dental Business Guide podcast here. And today I thought I'd give an update on what's going on in the dental market as of May 2021 and what I'm seeing and hearing out there. Now, as we've seen over the last, 12 months, there certainly has been a lack of supply in terms of practices for sale. Obviously, there are practices coming for sale, but if you launch a practice like we did just earlier this week, there's so many applications for it. Okay, now this practice is in London, and within a space of half an hour, I can't understand how many emails and phone calls my colleague Juliet received just about this one practice. Now, if you repeat that for other practices for sale, it just highlights how much demand there is for a practice. So that's obviously keeping practice values relatively high. Okay, so that's certainly good for vendors out there. But at the same time, since there is such a lack of supply, we have seen an unprecedented amount of activity from younger dentists wanting their own practice. So instead of buying, they're going down the route of starting up a practice as a result of the changes in the planning laws last year and relatively easy access to finance. If you've got some deposit to put down, this is an option that many are pursuing. And it can be a lucrative option for you if done right. And that's the really strong, important point here, if it's done right. Now, my fear is that many of these practices that do start up may kind of struggle. Why? Yes, you can get the money. Yes, you can find a location, but that's only half the battle. It's actually running and managing and developing and building a practice which has the right team, which has the strong marketing in place, which is going to drive the success of a business. So I will wholeheartedly encourage you to jump in and do it if you're thinking of doing it, but be aware and make sure you surround yourself with a team of people that can help you do it, whether it's the marketing side, the finance side. All of those aspects are so important, and we can certainly help if you need it. Now, one of the other things which I've also seen, interestingly, just again very recently, was people trying to sell their practice, being valued by certain values at incredibly high values, unjustifiably, perhaps trying to attract the vendor's interest so they think they can get such a large amount of money, but at the behest of a young buyer who perhaps is a little bit naive, who doesn't have the experience to look at it. So if you're buying a practice, I cannot suggest how strongly I recommend you get someone independent to look at the numbers and to assess the practice. Get an accountant who knows the dental market, get someone like ourselves who are accountants, valuers, who can understand that business and is it worth what they're being quoted to sell it for. As they say, it's buyer beware, caveat emptor. The onus is on you, and you really don't want to be buying a practice that is overvalued. And in addition, if you do go down that route and make an offer which is perhaps on the high side or very high or perhaps over the market value, it will only come back to haunt you because you've overpaid for something. And banks may not even lend to you anyway in the first place. So really, really be careful out there when buying a practice. Therefore, talk to experienced finance people, like people in my team, like Dan and Nigel and others in the team, who have the experience to say, is it worth that amount of money? And if it is, this is how much money you should be putting in, and this is how much you can borrow at competitive terms. So going forward for 2021, I can't really see this market changing. I think what might happen is people who own practices may have kind of just let the lie of the land settle as a result of COVID, and now maybe considering their options of, do I want to sell, do I want to exit? So maybe perhaps towards the end of the year, we might start to see a little bit of more flurry of activity of people wanting to sell their practices, to exit dentistry or perhaps to retire early. But as I said at the outset, there is still strong demand. There are a lot of buyers out there who want to get on the ladder of practice ownership, whether it's through buying, whether it's through setting up. There's certainly an option to do that, and an opportunity out there as well. Finance is definitely available out there. Obviously, you need to shop around and get the best terms for finance. So certainly contact my colleague, Dan, Nigel, and others. Now, if you're a limited company, we've also, as you might have heard in the budget, There's something called the super deduction, and that could encourage you to grow and develop your business over the next 2 years. So you can invest and you'll get 130% deduction on the equipment that you purchase, and that will have a positive impact and reduce your tax liability as well. So there's a number of things out there which are going on in the dental market, which I think are actually going to develop the market further. More and more dentists will invest in equipment such as digital dental equipment, and which will only drive the sector forward, and I think which only will encourage more investment into the sector and more demand for practices overall. So if you need any help, whether you're buying, whether you're setting up, whether you're selling, whether you need accounts, whether you need to grow your business through digital marketing, whether you want to save some money on your consumables and the equipment you buy, we cover the whole range here at Samera. So get in touch, and myself or one of the team would be delighted to help. Thank you very much, and I look forward to sharing further information with you on the podcast soon. Thank you.
Thanks for listening in to the Dental Business Guide podcast. We welcome your feedback, and if you're enjoying it, please let your friends know too. Until the next time on the Dental Business Guide podcast.